Welcome to a brand new episode of the Content Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Witnish. In today's episode, we're going to talk about content creation strategies for personal brands, and in brackets, you could put coaches, consultants, advisors, experts, thought leaders. And I want to start by acknowledging just how courageous the step is to authentically and vulnerably put your name, your face, your voice into the online world in the content format. You do that often with a blank canvas, starting from scratch with 0 followers. You know that your family, your colleagues, your friends, your community are probably going to see the moves that you're making. So you've got to deal with that projection, that fear, that doubt. And then you've also got strangers on the internet that are going to come across, interact, and engage with your content. It's a lot to process, and that's why most people will never take that step. So even thinking about going down this path is huge. But actually getting that first piece of content out there is significant. And I can remember the first time I put my name and my face to a video online. It went on YouTube. The video, I'll admit, I took down recently. And as soon as I posted it, I got a comment from someone that had a marijuana leaf as their avatar and some pseudonym for their channel they're commenting as, and they wrote a very derogatory comment about myself, my physical appearance. I believe it was 2011, 2010 when I posted the video. And that was my first experience of putting my name and my face and voice online, literally within the first few minutes. So there was a big slap in the face. I didn't actually take the video down. I blocked and deleted the user that made that observation. And that video, even though I have deleted it, was actually, and still is to this day, the video that got the most views ever on my YouTube channel, which I refreshed and started from scratch in the content niche in the last 12 months. So people didn't get confused with all the varietals of different videos I had going out across the channel. So that was a slap in the face to begin with. And it happened the moment I went online. So just be aware that at some point, someone hiding behind a fake name, a picture that isn't them, may stop you in your tracks, and just be prepared for it, because it can feel yucky. But when you understand that there are a lot of people that are missing connection, they're not happy with their lives, they lack significance, one of the ways that they try and meet their needs is through this type of behavior online. And that's why it's called trolling. So just wanted to share that. I've been called some interesting things in the last 12 months as well. I got called a vampire recently. I wasn't sure if that was an insult or not, but I went with it. I've been called some words I won't repeat on here for explicit reasons, but it happens. And if you have the focus of serving your audience and it's not about you, that's when you keep showing up. Because if it's about you, the minute that someone says boo to you, it's so easy to shut off, hide. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. No one really cares. And that's the other thing that you'll learn as you start this journey. Even though you're showing up, you're passionate, other people are so caught up in their own lives. Even if you have a faux pas or something happens online that doesn't make you look great, people move on very quickly. Some of the most prolific public figures that we know have been through some major life events that have been aired out publicly, and then 2 weeks later, a month later, it's blown over. So understand all those things. So the key is to start with service in mind and not to be doing it to give to get, if that makes sense. So if you're doing it because you want to create money or wealth out of it, naturally monetization might be one of the goals, but if that's the sole purpose, it's going to be so easy to give up. But if you're creating content and building a brand around topics that light you up and you're passionate about, you want to give value, educate, and share that with your audience, that's when you're going to succeed, because you'll be doing it long term. And this is a marathon. And that's the hat I want you to wear, because if you sign up for the content journey as a personal brand, it really doesn't ever stop. And in the beginning, you're going to do a lot of reps and you're not going to see rapid progress in most cases. But the benefit is you do find your voice. You do find what the audience is responding to. You do find the styles and format of content that are working for you. And it really is the goal to learn that as quickly as possible. What subject matters are getting the most traction, the most engagement, the most reach. What style of content? Is it short form video? Is it long form video? Is it written content that people are responding to? And you start doubling down when you get that feedback. And then over time, you'll have a content strategy that has very quality content on subject matters that you know your audience responds to and interacts with, and that's how it evolves throughout time. So let's start with the niche topic, and I want to cover from a previous episode where I talked about the power of niching. And the narrower you do go in your area of expertise, the easier it will be to build an audience that is highly engaged and also raving fans that interact with you. And we went down the path with our agency of niching into the trade and construction space and realized that wasn't a starving crowd, which is interesting. So when it comes to content as a service, we had the epiphany after, we should have probably had it before, but after speaking to 7 or 8 business owners that we had a relationship with in that space, we go, only one of them was really bullish on it. The rest kind of thought, oh yeah, it would be nice. People understand they need it, but they weren't desperate to have that. So we've pivoted again, and now our content only agency is content creation services for personal brands, for experts, for thought leaders, for coaches, for consultants. Why? Because that forms the foundation of their success in positioning in the marketplace, and that can actually increase the demand for their solutions, which ultimately puts their prices up and allows them to build a business out of offering solutions to that audience in a paid capacity. So that's our new niche of content only. It's been a merry-go-round, but that's also what it's like trying to find your voice with content. You might start off in one direction, like I have many times over the years, and land somewhere completely different. The key is to get started, and generally you'll find yourself talking about the things that you're passionate about anyway, and they're the easiest to talk about and create content for because you don't have to rack your brain or get overly strategic about that. And in the beginning, like I said, it's reps. So you just want to have a focus on creating as much content as you can. Be less concerned with quality and production because you're finding out what your audience is ultimately going to respond to, which I think is really important to mention. Now, I'm going to give you the content creation blueprint that we would recommend for personal brands, coaches, consultants, and experts. It's the system that we use at Content Only, and it's very simple. So to get some trending topics in your subject matter, you can go to resources that are free like Google Trends. You've got the Google Keywords tools. I've mentioned vidIQ, which is for video research on previous episodes. And something like Google Trends, if you take a keyword in your niche, let's say it was weight loss, it's going to bring up all the trending topics in the locations that you pick up that people are searching for online. And what that does, it gives you a platform to say, okay, what topics of high interest in my niche right now? And it can just give you a platform to create content for, say, the next month ahead. Another resource, this is where ChatGPT can be very handy, is if you're trying to come up with content ideas, you can go over to that tool. You can prompt it for, say, 20 content ideas for your niche and keep asking it questions to refine the quality of responses it gets. And you might get a list of that 20 content ideas, or you can ask for more, of course. And you might be able to pick 6 of those that you feel like you can add a lot of value on to your niche. There's really powerful ways to come up with relevant content ideas, but don't limit yourself. I think I have to just come up with trending topics. Talk about where you can add value and allow the audience to give you feedback on what they want to listen to. But this is for finding topics that you know your audience is actively searching for. From there, there's a couple of options. We've talked about the podcast scenario where you get on a podcast and you talk about those topics. And that could be one way to create your long form content, which is perfect for YouTube, for search engines, for Google's, for podcasting platforms, for long-tailed deep content that people can consume in extended sessions with you. The other option is to do a monthly interview. So you get your list of topics that you feel like you can add value on. You jump on a platform like Zoom or anything that can record video, or you film it on your iPhone, and you just use each of the topics that you can add value on as a springboard to start talking, and you just hit record and you just have the conversation, and you don't worry about messing up or what you say. You just keep talking, and you capture it all on film. Once you have that footage, that's when you can go and get your short form content. So you take that away. So in our process with Content Only, we have editors in-house, so they'll go through and they'll grab those sub 60-second clips, which are perfect for your YouTube shorts, for your TikTok videos, for your Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels. You can put them on LinkedIn, and you cover your short form content, which is really where you first tend to get your audience's attention in those short bursts. Those attention spans are at 8.25 seconds the last time I checked. So we meet them with long content in the beginning, it's often hard to retain their attention for a long period of time. But if we come in with a short form content which has one problem, a quick solution, bang, value delivered, then they're going to be more likely to consume your next piece of content and to want to engage with your personal brand. So capture long form content, whether it's through the podcast or through interview on Zoom or other formats. So we interview our personal brands and clients that we're working with in this process. And then that work is done for that personal brand in our process. But if you're doing this yourself, then you might have to go down the production path. And as mentioned, you can get all your ideas from Google Trends, from vidIQ, from the Google keyword tools if you want to get relevant ideas that your niche is searching for. So then you've cut your short form contents. Then from that same interview, you can go to rev.com, which we've spoken about before, and get the whole interview transcribed automatically, which I guess is a form of AI. I think it's 25 cents per minute of audio. And then you've got your whole interview in text format. And from there, you can either take grabs for your written posts, or you can get someone to edit them for you if you want to outsource the process. So that's what we do for our clients. And then for your written posts, you want to get on-brand visuals. So you might organize a photo shoot with a photographer down in Melbourne. Nicole, if you're listening, I know she tunes into a few episodes. That's who I am using. I've got a shoot coming up in a couple of weeks, and she'll be helping a number of our clients out down here as well in the future, getting professional photos, capturing your brand, your mood, yourself with clients in your environment doing your thing, and they can accompany your written post. So you've got that visual. Now with short form content, the way that you optimize it for performance is number one with the title, number two is with your thumbnail, and the rest is with the tags. So you've got these three elements, and then of course the posting times will also determine how much traction you get. If you post at a time when no one's on the platform, there's less eyeballs, less opportunity to get a ton of traction. Post at an active time, more likely that the piece of content is going to get picked up. So you want to write very short and sharp titles that are going to get people's attention and get them intrigued to want to consume that piece of content. The thumbnail should relate to the title so no one gets confused when they start consuming the piece of content. The tags will just help it come up in the relevant searches for your niche. So you've got best hashtags to find the tags. With the titles, there's a number of different ways. We have a formula that you can use. It can be X steps to X results in X time frame. So 3 steps to losing 5% body fat in 30 days without going to the gym, as an example. But if you want to keep it short, sharp, and punchy, and again, it can be just a few words as well that get someone's attention. If you want to lose 10% body fat, try this. Or if you want to lose 10% body fat in 30 days, try this. So you just, what is a title that someone sees that they're going to be curious enough that they have to consume that piece of content, they have to close the loop. So we call that process an open loop, where someone sees a topic and they want to get closure. Okay, what's the answer? What's the solution? So if you talk about problems that your target clients have, you go, hey, are you experiencing X, Y, Z? And then you solve those problems in your content, you're going to build up that expert positioning and become the trusted advisor in that space. And when people see you doing that, all of a sudden you become the destination for their solutions. And that's where the opportunities to monetize and get paid come from. So this is a really important part of the process. Now, there are tools that you can use once you've got your different formats of content to schedule it out in advance. You know that it is going out at optimal times rather than manually doing it. We use Hero Post. There's a great tool called Planoly as well, which covers some of the platforms that Hero Post doesn't. There's Hootsuite. There's a lot of different options out there. You can just find the one that's the best fit for you if you want to schedule content in advance. Meta, so Facebook allows you to schedule to Instagram and Facebook internally for free with its own business suite tools. So that's available anytime. So you've got tons of options depending on what platforms you're playing on. Now, the great news is if you're building your personal brand from scratch, you don't have followers, you don't have an audience, I've mentioned in previous episodes, you can get traction really fast with short form content. So shorts on YouTube, reels on Instagram, TikToks can get massive traction even if you don't have an audience. So we're talking thousands of views in 24 hours or less. So you'll start to see which topics generate that sort of traction if you do a high volume of content in the beginning. So don't worry about not having many followers. You can get a lot of reach quickly, organically, by going to the right content formats. And again, it's about quality of followers. If you have a highly engaged audience, and even if it's only a few hundred and they're interactive and getting value, you're far more likely, if you want to have a business around your personal brand, to make that successful than if you got thousands and thousands of followers, but it's all over the place. It's not a deep relationship. You've gone broad and general, so there's no real desire to get help with specific solutions. So there's so many different pathways to talk about. So to wrap up this conversation, let's summarize the content creation system. So do your research with the tools that I spoke about, Google Trends, vidIQ, the Google tool ChatGPT. The second step is to get your long form content. So your podcast, either your interview, and that can go on as YouTube podcast episodes, can get repurposed into blog posts and so forth as well. So people can have deep content sessions with you and your personal brand and really strengthen the relationship. Extract your short form content from there, which is where you're ultimately going to start building the audience in a lot of cases, getting those short bites of attention, giving value and getting on their radar. And you extract them from your long form videos and they go across your TikTok, Facebook, YouTube as shorts, Instagram Reels. You can put them on LinkedIn, etc. And then you've got your written posts that you extract from the same long form content. So you're also hitting all those modalities, and then get the photos, get some professional shots, jump on a site like Canva where you can do branding, so your colors and your fonts, to get on-brand content out for platforms like LinkedIn, your blog, Facebook, where people want to read and go into a little bit more depth, and might even be Google My Business if that's relevant. So that's the content creation system for personal brands. If you have any questions or you want to go on this journey deeper, by all means get in touch. Aaron Witnish on social media. There will be some ways to do that in the show notes. If you did want some support or help creating your content and you want to just show up, put in one effort and have the rest done for you, then by all means, you're welcome to touch base about what we do at Content Only. We don't work with a lot of clients deliberately, so we can have that relationship and really help our personal brands that we start to work with win in 2023. But thanks again for tuning in. If this is the first time you've listened to this far into an episode and you're not following or you're not subscribed, please do that and leave a review so we can get more people tuning in. I'll be back again next week with another episode of the Content Marketing Podcast.